I have gone 10 years into the future in Football Manager 2024 to find out who turns out to be the best Wonderkids in the game. And I think the best place to start is by finding out who won the Next Gen and Under 21 Footballer of the Year awards in the past 10 seasons. So starting off as the winner of the Next Gen Award in the 23-24 season, we have Antonio Nusa, who at the time was playing for Club Bruges with the 18-year-old Norwegian averaging a 7.2 overall rating, 6 goals and 9 assists. Let's take a look and see what he looks like 10 years in the future. And he looks like a player you want to sign. What a amazing crossing and dribbling, very good technique, excellent flair, and very good physicals. Starting off at Club Bruges, he's probably affordable and one to sign. Looking at his career stats, wow, very early on, he develops quickly, gets signed by Napoli, then ends up moving to Chelsea. If you're a big club looking for a young winger who is going to develop, Nusa is certainly one to look at. After Antonio Nusa, we have Lamine Yamal, and he looks phenomenal. What a player. At just 25 years old, I don't think anyone's going to be able to sign him away from Barcelona. Certainly not for that transfer value. But wow, at just 25, he becomes a phenomenal player with ridiculous goal totals, crazy average ratings. Obviously, as far as Wonderkids go, Lamine Yamal is the best in the game. I don't know if he's affordable, but he's certainly outstanding. Warren Zaire-Emery, starting off at PSG in the game, finished second that year. He becomes a really excellent defensive mid. Obviously, though, starting off at PSG, he's going to cost a lot of money. Some really interesting players here finishing behind Lamine Yamal. Let's start off with Rodrigo Mora, playing as a center mid for FC Porto at the time. He turns out to be a ridiculously good player, now playing for Liverpool with an absolutely insane transfer value. But he starts off at Porto. He'll certainly cost a pretty penny. But if you are a pretty good team, I think Rodrigo Mora is certainly one to buy. He is going to become an outstanding attacking midfielder who's just phenomenal all the way around. He is definitely one to look for. But I think perhaps one our first, maybe cheaper wonder kid, Noah Darvic, at just 19 years old. At this point, he was signed by Barcelona. But looking at him, an absolutely fantastic player. Now at PSG in the game, but looking at his career stats, signed for just 3.9 million for Barcelona in the Met game. He turns out to be a really good player, really good average ratings. Noah Darvic is one to look at early in the game. So that's it as far as the Next Gen Award is concerned. Let's move into the Under 21 Footballer of the Year. And it looks like we have some names we are unsurprised to see. Benjamin Sesko is a player everyone knows about at this point. Pedri we all know. Jude Bellingham, Evan Ferguson is one. But Ousmane Diomande might be a new name for a lot of people. And with some crazy physicals, he might be one to look at the game. Excellent jumping reach, great pace, strength, and stamina. He looks like a very solid central defender who can also step up into the center midfield, defensive midfield role. He starts off the game at, is it Michelin maybe, before getting signed by Sporting CP. So he is definitely one to look at. I would definitely recommend potentially signing him. Rooney Bargi is another one. He was one of the most signed players in Football Manager 2023, so he is always somebody to look at. But we have a player here, Hato from Ajax. He looks very good as a central defender. He is developing very well. Where does he? So he is at Ajax for the entirety of the game. He might be one to look at very early on. And after that, we are getting into our new gen. So let's move forward and see what some of the other Wonder Kids might have ended up. Looking at future Ballon d'Or winners, obviously early on, we're looking at players like Mbappe and Haaland, but some interesting names as we get further on. Lamine Yamal finishing second in 28-29, but this is the player I think we want to look at, João Neves. João Neves starts the game playing for Benfica, and I think he's one to definitely sign. Look at how good he gets playing for Manchester City. As far as being able to play anywhere from defensive mid to attacking mid, this is an absolutely phenomenal player. Definitely be looking out for João Neves early in the game. Of course, we also need to look at goalkeepers. Diogo Costa, again, one of the most signed players from last year's version of the game. Once again, looking like a really good option. Mike Mainan, also an excellent option. But looking forward at who might be some of our best young players, Anatoly Trubin certainly looks interesting. He'll be young to start the game, so he'll definitely be a goalkeeper to be looking at in the future. Additionally, Nicholas Heidel, I think he'll be maybe 21 when the game starts, 22 maybe. He looks like a really good player. He starts off at SK Rapid in Austria, so he is certainly one to look at as far as a goalkeeper who develops very solidly. Looking at some other good goalkeepers, we have Guillaume Restis. He starts off the game at Toulouse. He ends up being signed by Inter then Real Madrid in this version. But again, another world-class keeper with excellent one-on-ones, reflexes, very good distribution, and solid as far as being able to command his area. And finally, 10 years into the game, I think we end by looking at who were in the World Team of the Year, and we have some really interesting options to look at here. Let's start off in the center back position with Gonzalo Inacio. He starts off the game 21 or 22 years old, and he develops into a very good ball playing center back. Pretty decent physicals, excellent technicals, and solid mentals. He looks like a very good player. Overall, very solid ratings. He starts off the game at Sporting CP, and he's definitely one to look at. Moving into the right back position, Ivan Fresneda, a very solid right back. Obviously, fullbacks and wingbacks are hard to come by in Football Manager, so this is a player who you can trust on for essentially the entirety of your save. He develops his physicals really well. I think that's his big strength. Solid mentals, very good technicals as well, both in an attacking and defensive sense. He starts off the game, I believe, at Sporting CP, but he will definitely be available a few years into the game for not too much money. Moving into more attacking positions, Rodrigo Mora, he might be the player of this whole save. I think him and João Neves are absolutely phenomenal players. Fantastic technicals, mentals, and physicals. This is a player who can become absolutely world class. He starts off at FC Porto. He might be the best wonder kid in the game. Look out for him. And finally, I think we're going to end with Asan. I don't know how to pronounce this last game, but I'm going to go with Udriogo. And he is phenomenal. Beginning with Schalke, moving to Liverpool in this save. Check this guy out. Phenomenal physicals, pretty solid mentals, very, very good technicals. Another absolutely phenomenal player that you all will want to sign. So I think we're going to end there. Obviously, I didn't really touch on Wonder Kids that I think we all already know about. Players like Jude Bellingham, Jamal Musiala, Pedri, and Gavi. These are players everyone in the world knows of. So didn't really talk about them. But these are probably some of the best Wonder Kids in the game 10 years into the future. I'm going to end with my top 5 Wonder Kids now, and that'll be the end of the video. So coming in at number 5, we have Asan Ujrego, a name that I cannot pronounce. I hope that I have said it somewhat correctly, but a physically imposing, technically very good German attacking midfielder. He starts off the game at Schalke at, I believe, 17 years old, and he develops into one of the best players in the game, at least in this save. He's definitely one to look out for if you are looking for a world-class central midfielder who is going to last you the rest of the save. At number 4, I did want to include a goalkeeper in my top 5 to give some of the defensive players a shout out. And at number 4, we're going to include Guillaume Restas, an absolutely fantastic player. He's going to start off the game about 18 years old. He looks phenomenal. He turns into a world-class, very solid goalkeeper. He starts off the game at Toulouse. He will be affordable early on in the game. He's definitely one to look out for if you're looking for a keeper who can last you the rest of the save. At number 3, we have Rodrigo Mora, who turns out to be an absolutely phenomenal attacking midfielder. His physicals, mentals, and technicals 10 seasons into the game are just amazing. And he's starting off your save at just 16 years old. He starts off at FC Porto, and certainly early on in the save, I think he will be more affordable. But what an absolute beast of a player. He is going to be a future potential Ballon d'Or winner in this save. At number 2 is none other than João Neves. He starts off the game 18 years old and becomes arguably the best player in the world. Amazing technicals, awesome mentals, fantastic physicals. This is an amazing player that, of course, Manchester City have signed in this version of the game. He starts off at Benfica. He's one to look out for. Sign him early and develop him into one of the best. But number 1, of course, is Lamine Yamal. He's one of the best wonder kids in the history of Football Manager. 10 years into the future, he's still only 25 years old. He's still developing. He's a Ballon d'Or winner. He's going to be phenomenal. If you're managing Barcelona, absolutely keep this guy. He is fantastic. So those are some of the best wonder kids 10 years into the future in Football Manager. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.